My name is Frank Gehry. A long time ago, before most of you were born, I was getting really upset with building buildings and then having the electricians come in and punch holes in it to put wires in.
A lot of what is urban infrastructure or even residential infrastructure is in fact just housing all this distribution equipment, right? Roads and pipes and ducts and the configuration of cities and the configurations of buildings is actually dictated by the organization of this distribution system, not by what is possible if you take that out of the equation. And
it was clear that the aerospace guys were developing systems for Skylab that were miniaturized and were efficient and were light.
And the idea of being able to have a kind of self-contained infrastructure for individual dwellings and then being able to move that into disaster zone or into the third world or wherever. You want a vacation house in the, in the mountains, you
could put it in
yourself
your
in a tent, right? So yeah, so those ideas,
and
the
it could probably
application of that.
hook into your vehicle and run your vehicle.
Being able to look at how the implications of this change about systems, which is a very technical topic at one level, but how that can possibly change all the sort of the levels of infrastructure that you might design at, from the city down to the building, but even down to the the apartment and even down to the device. That seems like a key thread that this approach would lead to.
I think all of this sort of plays into the idea of local adaptation, and so having these sort of local power packs allows all the decisions about energy use, about material use, to be highly localized and therefore sort of optimal. And so you can think about that in terms of facade systems, in terms of transportation systems, in terms of a lot of other sorts of support systems that become inherently more logical when they're localized as opposed to distributed.
So that idea was something I floated with all these guys, and they thought it was absolutely brilliant, as usual. This opportunity with UCLA to explore with a group of students this idea and where it might take us. It may start out on this road and go somewhere totally elsewhere, but there's a certain logic to it that I like, and we're speculating beyond and saying, what if it did work? Then you could get off the grid. You could generate your own power, do the whole thing, miniaturize it, carry it with you from shelter to shelter. The shelter is no longer tormented by all these intrusions, and so it can become simpler. And the gadgets become smaller and smaller, like the computer did. It's a big topic. We'll have to, go like this and then narrow it down.
You can have a lot of different themes in a program like this, and the students themselves can make choices about what's their area of expertise, what's their area of interest. And the great thing, of course, about design is it allows you to pull a lot of kind of a selection of ideas together into a synthesis, and then take it in a particular direction. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to bring to this. Some of your ideas, Gehry Technologies, and the technologies we bring, some of the industrial partners, and of course, the expertise of the individual students that are going to come to this program. And I think there's going to be and then the SUPRASTUDIO infrastructure itself, which I think is really exciting. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that's thrown at this, and I think there will be a way that different students will pick kind of the area of research and synthesis that they're interested in.
But I seriously hope something comes of it. Something real comes of it. So.